Both Sushil and Supriya had an arranged marriage. The two had known each other for a few months before getting married. Both of them used to talk for hours on the phone or meet, and there was no topic of their conversation. They had told each other everything that had happened in college, from the beating of the schoolmaster in childhood to their youth. They knew each other's favorite colors, foods, smells, places, clothes, songs, and pictures. After the meeting, both of them started talking to each other. And then love blossomed between them. At last, the waiting was over, and the wedding was over. The love between the two blossomed into marriage. After the wedding, various rituals took place in the early days, and then came the night. The guests had left by then. There was a small party that night. Only a few people came to him. Sushil's elder brother had specially decorated their room for the first night. The room was filled with the fragrance of the flowers of Nishagandha, Mogra, and Rose. He knew it wasn't Sushil's first time, and it wasn't Supriya's. They talked to each other for the first time. Despite the arranged marriage, a separate relationship was formed between the two. Although it was not the first time for both of them, they were going to express their love for each other for the first time, so Sushil was very excited. It was like a hole in his stomach. He didn't even eat food. After eating half of it, he got up from the table. Even if his stomach was empty, he didn't care. He was waiting for one thing. He felt it the first night. He wanted to go quickly to the decorated room, but his friends were deliberately sitting in conversation with him. He was wasting his time laughing. All the others were gone. His family was also on their way to sleep, and he was sitting outside with his friends. She didn't want to sit with him, but she couldn't get up. Finally, his brother arrived. "What are you boys, Base, what are you doing?" he said in a low voice, "and you don't know whether Susa spends the first night with these boys now." Sushil was eventually released. Leaving his friends and grandfather behind, he went to the decorated room. As he opened the door, the scent of flowers wafted into his mouth. He unlocked the door. The windows in the room were fixed, but if he checked again. On the first night, he had joked a few times with his friends about the new couple, being careful not to let the same thing happen to him. On the bed decorated, Supriya was sleeping with a mobile in her hand, looking at something. As soon as she saw him, she put her cell phone aside and sat down. He was very curious. His heart was beating fast. His hands started to shake. My throat was dry, what used to be his condition when he went to take his results on May 1st every summer vacation while he was in school. The most terrible condition happened after he entered that room. He knew what he had to do. Even if it was not the first time, he wanted everything to be nice and orderly with her. So he was a little nervous. "How long are you going to stay here?" Sitting on a palanquin. Supriya spoke loudly on the bedsheet decorated with flowers next to her. She sits down next to him. They didn't want to talk to each other. Once he sat down, he began to speak and continue to speak. When they didn't speak, the silence between them disturbed them. Even though they were sitting quietly without holding each other's hands, they felt uncomfortable. At that time, Sushil did not know what to say, and the silence in the room woke him up. "Why do you do this?" Supriya said, holding his hand. "What am I doing?" He felt that he was behaving differently than usual with Supriya. "But I didn't dare to admit it." "You didn't lie to me?" she said. "What say you?" He didn't know what he was talking about. "Did you say you've got experience?" "But this is my first time." The first love between them was very important to him. He opened his eyes and looked at her happily, Supriya said, showing her discouragement, giving purple and waving from her mouth. He was a little taken aback by the sound of her voice, but he didn't say anything. He was the only one who could cheer them both up. He quickly got up and went to the light board, turned off the strong white light tube light in the room and put on a reddish-brown night bulb. Soon, I fell asleep. Seeing her sluggish face and discouragement, his curiosity faded for a moment, but he entered with full force without thinking about anything. He started to move. "Are you lost yet?" she asked, not knowing his disappointment. "No," she said, "it's been a long, long day." Yes, but all his hopes were dashed. She no longer wanted to be with him. After a moment, she said again, he couldn't resist this time. Both of them were feeling very emotional. At first, we talked to each other. Respect each other's feelings. They understood each other and enjoyed each other. After that, we both went to sleep. After that, whenever we got time, we used to give time to each other and respect each other's feelings. After that, we continued to work. I helped her many times and then calmed her down, and she was very happy with me. What happened? She was a little worried. He wanted to scream but didn't say anything that day. You sleep, and the program says it's going to die. He said he'd get back up. Sorry, I was so tired today, I'll fix it next time, she said. Are you not angry? No, you're not sleeping. We're both asleep, he said. After a while, she fell asleep on the couch. But he kept looking at the ceiling fan in the room filled with the fragrance of flowers. What he had hoped for, had not happened. So he was getting frustrated. After that, whenever we got time, we used to give time to each other and respect each other's feelings. After that, we just kept doing it. I've helped her many times. After that, whenever we got time or someone was not at home, I helped her in a good way. We still maintain a good relationship today. We still respect and honor each other. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it. If you want to hear new love stories like this, subscribe to the channel.